Greetings once more, everyone, and welcome! I hope you are enjoying as a new chapter of the show begins. The Blood Veil has ended in Korvosa, and peace has seemingly returned. Now our heroes have a chance to catch their breath. But some danger does lurk on the horizon. A man thought lost to the city turns out to be hiding, and hiding in the most dangerous of places, an area that still remains quarantined, cut off, Old Korvosa. What secrets does this man have? What does it spell for the Queen? And what path is she truly taking? One of a tyrant, or something else? Well, perhaps some of these answers and more will be answered today as our adventures continue. And yes, welcome to the Crimson Queen, and hopefully I will monitor and not have,
Very
sound
true.
issues.
We will see.
I listen to you, you sound good.
All
Let me make sure we sound good.
You should sound good too.
I sound good too.
Yeah.
I sound real good.
I mean, you restarted things, so it made you sound better.
Yeah. Alright, well. Yeah, I don't know. So, I found the only way to fix that Discord bug, as I've tried it, this is like the second time this happened, is to restart my whole computer. I have no idea
Jesus,
why.
that is...
nice.
I've had a couple of bugs like that, something
Very
happens
cool.
and you gotta restart everything to get it to work, and it's just weird when you get bugs like that. Anyway, yeah, if you missed last time, there was a big old epic battle, which I couldn't be heard during, so don't worry about it. It was an epic battle. You really didn't need to be saying anything about the defeat of this woman, and who had... Whether or not she was directly involved with the creation of Bloodveil, she probably was, but probably wasn't the head person behind it. She certainly had a lot of help from a bunch of different people. But nonetheless, she wanted to spread it to the city and kill everybody.
Apparently.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds more like she, in a way, got it from her god or from people before her.
Hmm. Technically, the research was based upon, some, I can't remember the entire side story. It's like...
Well,
Someone was, murdered and used in a thing. And
She's
a curse
dead.
was,
he's dead
ghosts in
twice
blood.
now, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ivona made a cure for it, so,
Cured. So, we had a couple of scenes then, which are going to be the setup for what's going to happen. But before we have that, we're going to kind of drop back in time. And what we're going to do is we're going to do some scenes with the people for downtime. Now, unfortunately, we don't have... What?
I said, oh, right.
I
remember
was
we're gonna have
off taking a nap. It's fine. That's all Tavel does in downtime.
That's very
Sleep.
on brand for them.
Yeah, narcolepsy.
Yeah. Actual clinical condition.
I think that's just going to be what Tavel has.
Actual medical condition.
Yeah.
I can cure it eventually, probably, maybe, we'll see.
I mean, it's probably best not to cure it because it's just fine. It's there.
I don't know, freaking passing out in the middle of combat would be pretty bad.
Hasn't happened yet. Though, as soon as Lynn passes out during the middle of combat, technically Tavel will.
Well, then I take over.
They get puppeteered by the necromancer.
Necroteered?
Yeah, that's
Don't
good.
say it like that.
Mm-hmm.
Make it sound wrong.
So there
I like
are a
Necroteered.
couple of scenes that I want to run with everybody, personally. I've got 3. And I want to see how many scenes everybody... What major things... I'm going to go around, we'll go clockwise, because I like going clockwise in this group. And you kind of say what things you want to do, and then we'll kind of run through and resolve them each, kind of round robin, including myself. So, let me sneeze here, because I cut down the cold. Let me mute myself before I do that. Well, not for my players.
muted for stream, but we have to suffer.
We have to hear
Yeah,
it.
sure.
Yeah. We have to hear it in visceral detail.
You do. Sorry.
Directly into his microphone.
Yeah, just immediately into the microphone.
Ugh.
Really, it's
Ugh.
the only thing that keeps me alive these days.
You're welcome.
That and the plate scraping really makes me feel alive.
I haven't plate
If I
scraped in a
can't-
while.
If I don't hear horrible pain
Yeah.
in my ears, am I even
I have
alive?
to. I'm like some kind of dwarf in a different universe where I need to be incredibly uncomfortable.
No. This is actual physical pain. That dwarf just wants to be uncomfortable.
Okay. That should hopefully be okay for a little bit. Man, having cold sucks. Anyway.
It's literally the worst it's indeed. I'd rather have the flu.
So, Khandes, what were your plans for downtime?
I have no idea, honestly. Probably just spending time with my people.
People do need you.
I mean, there's been a lot, so.
A lot had transpired.
Making sure they're okay.
Mm-hmm. So, spend time with people. Okay. Anything else?
Maybe preparing them if they have to leave, because this city seems like it's going to be going down the shitter.
I mean, there really isn't a lot of being able to do that kind of thing. It's unfortunate there's not really a place for them to go.
A lot of people who go to Korvosa have been, not necessarily kicked out, but over, have other reasons to be here.
Start their own tribe.
Easier said than done in Varisia. You know.
I know. Just warn them of the crap storm that's coming.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then shopping.
We can kind of say shopping is done at least. That's an easy one. Ivona, was there anything you wanted to do?
Need to. Well, aside from the talk to a vampire, which I think is a you thing.
Yeah.
We're gonna do anyways. I got the name of a ship and the name of a man, right? A potential fathery man.
Yes.
I know my odds of getting ship information are very low. I want to try and look into the bloodline if I know a surname.
Don't you
Okay.
have a big friend who used to work at the docks who can help you with ship stuff?
Yeah, but that was
I have a friend with
21
dogs.
years ago. Those records probably lost.
Oh, okay. It's a very old record.
I mean, I have a friend at the docks. I can check with them for you if you need me to.
If you'd like to. But I need to find book information on a potential undead bloodline.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Zardris, how about you?
I mean, I work at a temple, so the only thing I've done in this downtime was probably commission armor.
Okay.
If I was needed, I'd be at the place, healing people. It's my whole life.
Okay.
For some reason.
Then Ada.
Okay, wait. I have a question. Is it Zardis or Zardris?
It is technically
Zardris.
Elven
I'm sorry.
word, so it's Zardris, I believe, because it's
I
words put together.
I had accidentally not recopied it into some of my notes. The
elves.
R, and so
Having
I forgot about
compound
it.
words.
Yeah, I forget what it means. Something about being dark and beautiful or something.
Yeah.
Which is not the character.
That's me for missaying it because I just recopied it poorly. Anyway.
Okay, everyone literally says Zardis, and I'm like, I
don't
see
even.
it
It's
spelled
like
Zardris, and my
however
brain.
you say it or pronounce it is whatever. I know who you're talking about because it's always Zar and then something.
Yeah.
And it's I don't think
It's
the
not
character
so
would care.
difficult. It's just me.
None of us
sleep
speak
with
Elven
one.
in real life. Fun fact.
Yeah, but
We
I
could
think
just
the
call you
character-
Czar.
Yeah, I think the character legit would care if you didn't pronounce it the Elven way. Just be okay, well, whatever. That's close enough.
Okay, these are just stupid weirdos who are mostly human, and then a big
Yeah, I
lizard.
think everyone's mostly human, but
My,
sounds a weird.
my character actually might care a little bit because she does have a mild interest in language, but not
It is
crazy.
technically an Elven word. Is it a Pathfinder Elven word? I don't know about that.
Probably not.
Hard to tell.
My character technically speaks like Aklo and Sylvian.
Sylvan, yeah.
Sylvan.
Good old-
Sylvian's a Pokemon. Anyway.
You speak Pokemon.
There's a pink Pokemon with ribbons.
You speak pink Pokemon with ribbons that are part of its body!
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is some
Yeah.
weird eldritch abomination.
It's
Tentacle
the
ribbons.
fox creature.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Ada, what's your plans for downtime?
My character commissions an enchantment on her breastplate.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, she will probably spend some time working with the powers granted by her artifact. I mean, I don't think I make this super clear every time, but like her claw, like the black tendrils, like go down her like hands and become claws and stuff from her artifact. So she'll probably mess around with stuff.
Your shifter powers were unlocked through connections with your stuff, yes.
Yes. So I don't make that super clear every time, but that is
Mm-hmm.
headcanon how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
the
it's-
reason I'm doing this is because there's one big thing I unlocked recently. So I'm like, my character's
Mystical.
figuring that out. You'll
No.
probably figure it. You'll probably. I'll
Sounds like
reveal
witchcraft.
that when you guys figure it out.
Okay. So, I am going to do these things in what I feel like would be the appropriate order of them. So I'm going to start with mine, and then I'm going to kind of go into your stuff. And if there's any kind of group thing you think that the group would want to do, let me know too. I'll kind of say that after we circle back around. So the first thing that's going to happen is, and this will be happening pretty much around the back end of the Blood Veil being cured. So this is kind of like in those last waning weeks of it. It's mostly gone. Work is cutting down. You will receive some information that you can discuss as you will. This will kind of probably occur. You know, you do have... Well, you don't have a base of operations anymore, so I guess
Yeah,
you're...
it's in quarantine.
That is in quarantine.
I got
I
a
guess
So-
we're
church
just
room.
vibing at one of the churches.
My
probably-
room's probably tiny.
It probably would be a time when you're
Yeah.
all meeting together to work out some stuff that you're working on, because you probably
took
coordinate.
a slightly more permanent residence at Balsambone's house with
Yeah.
Khandes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming both of you and Tavel will come in, like, you know, to work on stuff. So it's probably one of those times you're together getting ready to meet with stuff when you'll get a message from
We made a little nest for Tavel in the corner.
Yeah. Just a bunch of pillows have been thrown there.
definitely.
The dog. We pulled out the dog bed.
So this will be an actual message from Cressida Croft. And it's a very simple message. The information says, prisoner Susperio has disappeared from her cell.
I got a local check on that.
You recognize
This
that
is a man
name.
we know.
This is someone you know. It goes on to say, because of the nature of what was going on with the Blood Veil, Prisoner Susperio had a lighter sentence than what would normally have been given. She was given life imprisonment and sent
the
to...
lady.
Is this the elf?
It's the crazy
lady?
elf.
This is the
Yeah.
crazy.
Told you we
elf,
should have killed her.
Yes.
Oh, insane lady. I
Oh,
mean, I
yes.
can fix
Yeah.
her.
Yes.
Technically, with
AKA
magic, technically
Yeah, yeah.
can.
Once I get to a higher level, I'll fix
AKA Rolf's girlfriend. So, I mean...
I'm sure she'll be a good person after I cure her literal insanity.
mhm.
No.
I mean, you know, she'd probably be a better person.
No.
She's basically the Harley Quinn to Rolf's necromancy Joker. And I guess he probably... Effectively, there's probably hints in the way that Cressida says things here that she suspects Rolf Lamb probably freed her, but there was no actual evidence of how she got out. She just disappeared
Dimension
one
door.
day.
Dimension door. Probably.
Yeah, I broke. Yeah, I
he
broke
has
her
it.
out. We do know he has Dimension Door.
Yes.
Yeah, we know that.
And it's unfortunate that Most prisons don't plan for that from, they usually just do things to prevent the actual spellcasters from doing stuff, not people on the outside most of the time.
Fair.
See, if I were to build a prison,
Understandable.
I would put an anti-magic field in it.
It would be very expensive.
That is very expensive.
Yeah, I was about to say it's understandable, although a little foolhardy to think that other people with magic outside can't break it. But
It's less that, like, the cost and worry about it is the thing, because Dimension Door actually has a range, and usually they have prisons set in a place that's very difficult to do it into, so even Dimension Door is a little iffy. Rolf would have had to get pretty close to do that.
Being gagged and having your hands bound restricts like 99.99% of all spellcasters.
yeah, I know.
There's only like a couple people who can get around that, and they'd be super high level.
And 99.9% of people in prison aren't spellcasters.
Yeah.
And usually people on the outside that would break them out, there are not as many as you'd think,
No, of course, yeah. No, I get why it's like it's a cost versus reward.
Yeah.
But
Jocelina is theoretically once more with her hubby and being not well.
Yeah.
So Khandes, you will get a sense of what's going on with your people. Unfortunately, they too suffered heavily from the Blood Veil. In fact, it, in a way, was a little worse, as a lot of supplies were prioritized for the city over the areas your people live in. Just unfortunately. Granted, it's nowhere near as bad as old Korvosa, because they're quarantined on an island and kept out. You're like a step above them, but still not great.
I mean, they're also, if I remember on the map correctly, their lands are like to the side almost of the city.
Yes, but what I'm saying is when supplies were coming in, they were just going through your area, not dropping a lot off.
Right. No, I get that.
Which is kind of insulting in a way, too,
Yeah.
And probably a lot of your people weren't allowed to cross the bridges either, too. The bridges probably were very highly regulated during the entire time.
The bridges and gates were probably very locked down during the whole thing.
So it was some months of suffering, but certainly Thousand Bones has done his best to keep things in check, and certainly the plague itself is a reason to stay a lot of anger. There's reason enough to be upset about, plenty of things. So luckily, they've managed to survive and gone through things relatively all right. There were losses, but your community survives.
I'm going to want to have a conversation with Thousand Bones at some point during this, by the way.
Okay, we'll do that on we circle around to you then, okay?
Okay.
So, you can bond with the community, help them out a bunch, Khandes, and certainly you are seen as a kind of local hero amongst them. You are involved with the group that helped cure the plague, and you are seen as like a emissary of what is the I want to say it correctly.
The Shawante?
Of like an emissary of the like ancestors.
Okay.
Like imbibing their wisdom, that kind of thing.
Also, I'll volunteer, especially since I have the doctor's mask still, to help with any death rituals and stuff and removing bodies.
Yeah. Okay. Certainly, that will help a lot to keep things relatively clean and well maintained. Sorry. All right. So that's the Shwanti. Now, Ivona, I'll give you a choice. What do you want to work on first? Do you want to you can look into the boat, you can look into vampiric bloodlines, you could
like
chat with your vampire associate now, your Nosferatu associate.
I feel like vampire chat first.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's going to be more immediate, since he's, like, going to leave.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting that I've got a chance to meet you. He's probably set up himself in a abandoned building somewhere in mid-city because of, some place there. People just died of the Blood Veil, He seems to be kind of like looking over and working on stuff. He probably requested you and asked for a little bit of your blood to test out and study.
That's fine.
Mm-hmm. So, you are assisting me. Is there something I can assist you with?
I know it's unlikely for you to know, but I'm seeking information about my bloodline.
Are you aware the type of vampiric suffering your blood comes from?
I say the name I was given, but I don't think I know. Do I know what kind of merchant he was, where he was from?
You generally do. I believe, I'm just trying to make sure I've got the one right, because it's been a bit since we talked about it.
It has been a hot minute.
Is that the correct one? Yeah, the Vedrani one, the Valletta.
Yeah, the Valletta.
So Vitala. Vitalans, eh? It has been some time I've encountered any from Vudra. Psychic vampires, as they're sometimes called, are a rarity to our section. Of course, my affliction is another more rare one, even though we can easily find ourselves in places. You see, as he's kind of working, mine and others like me, our curse can, well, no longer be spread. And the exact passage that resulted in our change is lost to most of us. Age and time. Most of the time, the more common Moroi blood are what we find, including my master. He has given me a place to find sanctuary within Ustalav and continue my research. Well, not to say that there aren't other, perhaps more rare, types out there, or something more strange. But if you were to look at what vampirism is, well, a being such as yourself is a oddity. Alive yet dead, undead yet not. A strange thing.
Deeply uncomforting to exist in this way. I truly feel I belong nowhere.
Well, there were a few directions I was planning on taking my research originally, and given enough time, I felt I would come across a decent path. But your advent has kind of changed my directions. Certainly I must return home before it is too late. But given that my current job's done, a little bit of a side excursion might not be so bad. Let me explain. I'm sure you're aware that there are many Thessalonian ruins throughout Varisia.
Yes.
Well, According to some of my historical research, there had been a contingent of beings and amongst the Thessalonians. Beings that could be called vampire, but are quite different than what we know today. Strigoi. Whether these were the first Strigoi or just another group of them, whether they were the last bastions of them before they either died out, changed into what we know now as vampires, or returned from whence they came, none of these answers can be answered. But my original idea was to investigate perhaps the plane of shadow. Understanding our common ancestor would be an interesting way to understand our own blood.
I can see how that would be helpful.
I plan on investigating a number of ruins across Varisia here. I plan on heading towards... I believe there's some interesting ruins in a place called Sandpoint, near...
It always goes back to Sandpoint.
I mean, it's...
It always goes back to Sandpoint.
Technically a subset of the Magnamar and controlled by them. So, I mean... If you exclude Magnamar, it goes to Sandpoint, and they do totally have a weird Thessalonian temple in there.
There's like a big Thessalian artifact in Magnamar. That's just like a big arch.
Yes. So both cities are just built on Thessalonian ruins. Because
Makes sense, yeah.
reasons. Or Magnamar, perhaps. I plan on heading that in a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Now, while we are in Varisia, I understand you're still dealing with the aftermath of this blood veil. As you've seen it. Perhaps you would be willing to allow others to finish the last vestiges of your work and accompany me.
I would be willing to do that with a stipulation if possible. I do not feel it safe to leave some of my family here, specifically my mother, for fear of the Queen's reprisal. I should like to have her ferried safely to Magnamar.
Excuse me.
A vampire's dying of a cough.
GM's dying of a cough.
So every character we meet is also dying of a cough.
They're just recovering from plague. It's fine.
Yeah, every last person's recovering.
I'm pretty
from
sure
plague.
coughing was not a symptom of this plague, but you know.
You know, and now it
The
is.
symptom of the cure.
They just got blood in the throat and they're just choking it.
Exactly.
Right?
I unfortunately cannot arrange such things. I do not have connections. But if you wish to arrange something along your own lines, let me know. I will finish what work I have here, studying what you've given me, and the samples you've given me. I may call upon a few more. But once my work here is done, I must press to these locations.
Of course.
I cannot dawdle too long before, well, my master calls me back. There will be answers, and of course, the death of the former employer and, well, the loss of a couple of wayward children who just ran off into the city. Terrible things. They really should have stuck around closely.
Who's to say what happened to them?
Alright. So, that'll pretty much how your meeting goes.
Sweet.
Then we will have Zardris. You'll work. That's what you want to do?
Hell yeah, work.
Yeah, I work at a temple where I'm
Technically make rolls to work.
You don't really.
Well,
I'm not
I mean-
really going to have you make rolls to work. But what I'm going to say is, your time working at the temple is actually stressful in a different way than you would think, because certainly there's the threat of a plague and dealing with that. But there is something also that you've been noticing a lot more of, and it's like something that, because you are a people that deal with healing and such, then yes, your temple is maybe not as large a temple as Pharasma or Abadar.
Maybe
You
get
know,
by.
you get by and help out as best you can. but there does seem to be a rise in violence. And the violence seems to be coming from those in charge. More and more you're hearing stories. No. More and more you're hearing stories of the Grey Maidens cracking down on issues with more and more violent answers and extreme force. Granted, it always does seem to be situations that require some level of force, but it always seems like they accelerate things.
It may be antagonizing to the point that force was required.
They do seem to be acting quite differently than the city guard would have when it requires this kind of thing. But the city guard is taxed and has lost a bunch of people to, plague. So, yeah.
Ooh, stressful working environment.
Oh,
Right.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
They love that.
Ada, you will have certainly plenty of times to sit down with Thousand Bones. You've become a guest at his house, along with Khandes, and have been given plenty of time to have room. And certainly on a day where he's kind of relaxing, working at like a hearth, kind of warming the room a little bit, you can kind of catch up with him.
Thousand Bones, I've been wondering about something.
Yes, Ada.
What do you know
Adamant
of the
Heart.
pyramid?
The ancient pyramid here in the city.
Yes.
Well, I know some things. What kind of questions would you ask?
I know that something. I know that something is sealed inside of it, but that's about it. Do you know what was sealed away? Why it was sealed away?
I can tell you a few things of it, but there is much that is hidden and lost to time. The place is called Makshasa Sat. I'm going to butcher this one. I'm going to put it in chat here. I'm going to try it. I'm going to put it in chat and try it. I got the name of it. There it is. Mashaka Shahat Puyuk Hoke.
Pukey hole.
Uh-huh.
Huyuhoke. Huyuhoke. Yeah. Shaka Shat Huyuhoke.
It was the people of the Sklar Quo which controlled this city. Their people have long since been driven deeper into the Cinderlands.
Familiar.
They guarded this place, an ancient thing. The thing is, spending time in the city and becoming understanding it more is something that is part of history. Our people have our stories, and our stories are set in old histories. But the people here of the city know other words and ideas of those old cities and places. There was once a grand empire in ancient days in this land. An empire of dark oppressors. I'm sure you may have heard some stories that dive back into the olden days, long before the Shwanti people were masters of this land.
Here and
True.
there, yes. I know what my I know what my parents told me about some of the ruins we visited.
A great destruction came. The common folk here would call it Earthfall. It ended the great empire here and caused great destruction. From what I gather from our own stories and asking questions, I am close to people who can answer questions about things that our people may understand, but not understand. If you understand my words, we have our stories, but what these stories represent, what these stories tell, some of it has been lost to ages. Our people were probably what could best be described as servants, slaves of these dark masters of this land. When the great Earthfall happened, their empire fell, and the Shuanti people were left there alone in darkness. Terrible things came, like the orcs and other threats. But we survived and came together. There were others that were from this area, the Varisians. They are different than us, though, travel differently. But as far as I can tell, we share the same ancestry. These great empire, Thessalonians they were called, they built this pyramid. Now, whether this pyramid here is part of some temple structure on the coastline, some ancient city, or whatnot, you would have to ask a person who knows more of the common history about it. I can only tell you our old stories about what has befested our ancestors. Now, much would have been lost, and certainly Skla Quo found this pyramid as a place to watch over. Sorry. God, I'm just coughing a lot today. I have to drink some more water.
Okay.
I think it's because my nose continues to run. It goes down my throat. I'll probably have to grab a little extra medication.
I forget where I heard something was inside, or trapped inside. I think someone told me that, or I rolled a roll to remember that or something.
The pyramid itself was never explored by the Skla Quo. Though they settled around it, they found it cursed and wished to keep it sealed away. I fear whatever dark curses may have been in there were taken by the ancestors of the Korvosans and the kings of their old time.
Let's see.
And certainly there are things that could Skla Quo stories that I have heard do tell me that there must be some merit to the curses of that place and why it was sealed away. Certainly there has always been a evil about the cities, and whether that evil has directly affected or consumed the rulers of Korvosa varies. The last king died, mysteriously assassinated, evil. The current queen seems, well, perhaps consumed more by that evil rather than attacked by it. But who can say? Maybe it will turn against her.
I'm worried she has made some sort of deal with the evil.
That I cannot say.
She was struck through the head with an arrow during a recent ceremony. She just pulled it out and lived.
That does seem unusual. I heard some rumors. But
I was right there. There's no way a normal human would have survived that. Something is protecting her.
But that is the thing. You forget the Korvosans descend from those that worship dark spirits from beyond the veils. Devils. It could be very easily that she has made a deal with one of those type of creatures to protect her, or something else. Now granted, I cannot deny that there's the possibility that there was a curse or creature deep in that pyramid, but that is something that we cannot guess on. I would not know. Again, someone who knows old history of these Thessalonians may know of if they would have sealed away some form of intelligent curse or creature that could bring curses.
Well, sounds like I'll have to go to the Sklar at some point if I need to, if I want to find out more.
They might not be willing to talk to you, even though you are Shuante now. You still are different enough that they may not accept your existence. Their anger against losing this home, and the battles they have against those of Belkzen, fill them with rage.
Well, maybe worth a shot if whatever's befallen this city can't be fixed. We may need to go to them.
Perhaps.
I don't think they'd be willing to help them.
I would rather not the help they would bring to this place. They would bring naught but death. And it has been too long, too many generations. I would perhaps seek more coexistence, as I have so much tried for my life.
I would agree with that. But
they may have more stories, but I feel as though they will be stories like we have. Half-truths. Things that are lost to the words we spread. Living in amongst these people here, I both have learned to respect the stories we tell and share, but also understand that these stories hold their lessons strong, but their truths far.
Truths can be gathered from many places. As long as you have the ability to piece them as long as you have the mind to piece them together, you can find there's truth in even the
But
weakest
are you a studier of history? That is what I would suggest you would seek out. I do not know if anybody in this city would qualify to know things about the ancient peoples and empire that once controlled our ancestors.
I will admit, I'm not as studied as my parents were, but I can strive to perhaps be more like them in time.
True.
I have a lot to learn.
But you must worry about this too. He's actually going to hold out a hand and poke the thing in your chest and say, this is a lesson that you will always have with you. This lesson is the one of the curse. Keep it in mind. The same curse that perhaps this woman you may see as having is embedded within you.
Yes,
You may have control over the curse, and perhaps that is what has happened. The curse controls her. I cannot say. But
No, you are correct. It is important to be careful.
you dive into things and ask questions that may be dangerous to ask for your own health and safety. Granted, you have powerful friends. I'm sure Elemental Claw would do much for you, Adamant.
Yes, we have become quite close. Much closer than we were as children.
There are times you find individuals that become as close to you as siblings, or people you have grown up side by side with, when you did not think that could be possible. Rely on him. He will help guide you and make sure that whatever ancient works you must dive into, whatever curses you must face, if you are to answer your questions, they do not consume you. And perhaps seeking out Sklar Qua might be the answer. But perhaps seeking out a Korvosa or their kin, who knows of the ancient peoples that once ruled these lands, may also help.
Thank you. That's actually very, very good advice. It was a pleasure speaking.
Whenever you need to, I am here. Alright. So,
That was moderately informative and but much more interesting. I'm intrigued, and I also think it was a little bit of something Ada needed. To be like, hey, be careful.
yes.
No, definitely a good call on that.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you have some kind of strange artifact that may be having influence on you in your chest. Maybe something like that, if that's your thought pattern, something like that happened to the Queen, it could happen to you too.
Yeah, that's also interesting.
Yep.
I'm curious if you'll do something with that. That's fun.
I have plans. Whether or not they go that direction will depend on some things that are still going to happen. I already have made plans for the thing in your chest. Haha, I worked on that. You're not quite there yet, because you're still in Korvosa.
Yep.
And you got that outside of Korvosa. Anyway, is there any kind of group kind of activity that you would want to all do something together with? That's kind of where we're on next.
I mean, there is the talk between Ivona and Ada.
I think Zardris wanted in on that.
I'm indifferent.
Fair enough.
You could bring in Khandes if you want, or not.
Bring in the group. There's a big group conversation. This is something that needs to be talked about.
Yeah, okay. Kind of pull together the group then.
What?
I said I will attend.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright, I just didn't hear you.
That's fine.
So this will probably be in, after things have quieted down, so we're getting into the early time of your downtime. Where you're finally... The plague is cured kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right past the plague.
Yeah, my conversation with him would have been after the Queen thing, so definitely after the plague was cured.
So that's right around that time there. So it's the time period in between the public awarding you / things that happen with the Queen and the couple of weeks before you basically have your meeting with Cresta Croft and get your new mission. So you're right at the beginning of those couple of weeks. The tone has shifted in the city in a way.
It's getting bad.
Yeah. But it hasn't reached a crescendo yet. And even when you get to Cresta Croft meeting, it hasn't done that yet either. But it's going in a direction. You can meet.
Okay. So, I'm just going to say it. Perhaps next time we take a large group of prisoners, there is no mass execution.
They were capturing innocents. They were bringing them down. Yeah, no, actually, no. Yes, they're capturing innocents. They're bringing them down below to be experimented.
Yes, but look at the problems it has now caused. Killing 4 maidens has put far more attention on us than we ever needed.
Unfortunately true.
I don't really care about the doctors. I do think killing them was wrong, but
They
they were doing horrific experiments.
They weren't going to be punished for their involvement.
Unfortunately, sometimes that has to be lived with.
At the same time, knowing what we know about Queen now, do we really care if we pissed her off?
In hindsight, no.
I mean, I live here.
No, so we all live here right now.
And would you make your landlord angry because you don't agree with something that they do or say? To risk everything? To be thrown out or killed on sight? Or your family destroyed? We can not like what people do, but sometimes more delicate actions are taken.
Given plenty of leeway to the criminals of this city.
In a city, we have to follow the laws here.
And when the laws are endorsing murder, torture,
Then we
undead,
don't stoop to their level.
raising of dead.
We let the proper authorities deal with it. Because it truly isn't our problem.
And
They were
proper
proper
authorities
authorities.
are corrupt.
Then we try to ruffle feathers in the most discreet way possible. And executing a bunch of prisoners that are directly tied to the Queen is one hell of a feather ruffler.
So,
Despite what they were doing, they were also helping people as well. They weren't completely evil. They were still treating most of those
The
people.
only, aside from the cultists, the only man in that building that truly deserved what he got was the insert barred man's name because I've forgotten it.
Evil man!
That guy.
Davalis.
Yes, Rhaenyra Davalis.
Yeah, I got it right.
Hey, that guy. Davalis is the only one in that building who deserved it.
I disagree. I think all of them knew what they were doing. They knew it was
People have the capacity to change be better. Kill that person, they have no capacity to change. Their life ends. Everything they could be is gone.
I think we will agree to disagree, but we should think before we act.
If we start executing all of our enemies, we're no better than the Queen.
You will also shortly find yourself without a cleric.
fine. I will be more careful.
If they
I
fall in
will
combat,
ask.
I care not.
Before I make any judgments. Perhaps I was a bit rash in my attempt to deal punishment to those involved. I was under the impression action, they would receive absolutely no. They would suffer no consequences for their heinous acts, but perhaps we can fix this city yet. And maybe then they can get what they deserve. Okay. I will be more lenient.
That's all I ask. Another matter I need to discuss. There are people I'm planning to get out of the city. If you have anyone you wish ferried to safety, please let me know.
I do, but sadly I do not know where he is yet.
Or if they're even in city.
That too.
Only people I have are you guys and the other Swante in town. They're not going to leave.
No, they won't.
This conversation will be after I've talked with the Nosferatu, correct?
Yes.
I'm going to be departing for a short while. I will be putting you in contact with someone who can aid you with whatever you need.
Very well.
You can trust him. He is my uncle.
Okay.
He is
Keep an eye
a
out.
Shuanti.
May I ask what tribe?
I'm afraid I do not know. I believe he was banished long ago for his practices. He never adhered to the lifestyle very well. Chose a different path for himself.
I see. Well, you'll be welcome with us at least.
We are misfits.
We're all a bit weird, yes.
Is there anything you need help with preparation?
I don't know. I need to talk to our noble friends to see if they can get my mother out of the city. If I can get her to them. And I will be departing to deal with some research, and perhaps I can find something to help out here.
Okay.
Need anything, let us know. Otherwise, good travels.
And good luck to you.
Yes. Let us know if you want us to buy you a scroll of sending so you can, I don't know what level spell that is.
That's 4th level spell.
Or sending stones.
Sending stones would be nice, but they're very expensive.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, we could buy you a scroll of sending to, copy down.
I think I can afford it myself. Thank you.
Very well. Keep in touch. Let us know if you need any help or if you get any leads on what might be going on, as slim as the chance may be.
Oh, sorry. Sending is 5th level, apparently.
Oh, it's way higher.
It's 4th level for clerics.
Because I remember getting named at 4th level. But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
'cause
You get 5th at 9, right?
Yeah.
But sending's the really good message, you know?
Yeah, the earlier
Yeah, I
version
know.
of things like Whispering Wind or something.
Yeah.
I think that's the earlier version of
Sending
it.
isn't sending like, am I on the same plane as you? Great, I can communicate.
Yeah,
Yes.
sending is the planar
like-
version.
It's basically like, you cast it, you get like, 25 words or whatever, and
Might be
And
as long as you're on the same
apparently-
plane, they receive it.
Apparently I was wrong. Sending stones isn't in here. It's Shell of Sending,
Yeah.
which comes in a pair for 12,200.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sending stones.
There are
is
missive
fun.
stones. They're like 10,000.
Sealed sending. What the heck? Oh, it's a scroll. 50
Yeah.
words. Magically appears. Whoa, this is really dope. It's a 5th level?
Yep.
Oh, you have to have been at the place, so you could send a scroll to a place you've been.
Communication skills are very expensive in Pathfinder.
If we had a scion, we could do correspond.
True.
I mean, we can buy you a scroll, and when you magically hit 9th level, when we hit 9th level, you can use it.
I'll just buy one at that point. I have so much money.
Wait, buy one right now.
Yep.
All right.
Oh no, it can go to different planes. There's just a 5% chance it doesn't arrive.
Yeah.
I forgot. It's like a
It has
percentage.
a very low chance of failing.
I think it's the same
Yeah.
in 5e.
5e is a 5% chance as well. I think 5 or 10% in 5e.
It's just the 3rd level instead of 4th and 5th.
It's not actually that good or useful.
I mean, 25
Although it's
words
up-
is so limiting.
Yep.
It is, but like, if you're really not doing much else except communicating, it's not too bad.
Or talking to your hot wife that lives on the con.
Anyway. Okay. So, I know who you wanted to talk to. They will contact you
Oh,
first.
convenient.
Ah, yes. They were actually planning on contacting you.
Damn.
They are the Gelento family. Will actually
yeah,
make a call out to your group.
Sick.
And arrange a meeting.
I will go to the meeting. Other
Okay,
people
are
can
the
come
whole
with
group?
me.
Yes, actually, they'll call out to all of you.
I assume
Okay.
And then I'll go.
Yep, same.
They'll kind of actually, a butler will greet you at the door, bring you into a meal that they've arranged, a very fine meal and stuff like that.
suspicious.
You know,
It's a trap.
we wanted to
I
keep
don't-
things as much proper as possible. Look, I understand that your associate, Miss Larange, has begun traveling with our wayward son on some form of quest of some kind. And yes, him outside the city has given us pause for safety. But with how things are going, I am arranging for some business dealings that I need to be taking place within Magnamar, and I'll be traveling there with my wife. We'll be spending a little time, our son being out of town. It's a good excuse to get away and spend some time together. We figured it would be a good opportunity to let you know that we would be going there.
Well, this is very funny. I was actually going to ask if you could assist me in getting someone out
Well,
of the city.
Well, he's got to kind of stop you. He's like, it turns out that, traveling can be dangerous, and arranging for some people to help watch after our journey might be something required. And of course, I understand that, yes, if we'll be leaving shortly, though, and certainly the travel to Magnamar isn't that difficult, but if we wanted to perhaps go on a little bit of vacation afterwards, having some protective individuals nearby would be helpful. I could arrange to have a way of traveling outside of the city and traveling to Magnamar to be available for anyone that wants to take advantage of it. And you could meet us there and be employed with us to help guard us.
Sorry.
They're not going to tell you that you definitely get what they're saying. They are not being subtle, but they're also not saying it out loud.
If this is agreeable, I will take you up on the offer.
Excellent. If you wish to travel with us post-haste, we'll be going in a few days. Otherwise, we will arrange for... he'll name a name like a servant of ours will be remaining in the manor house to watch after it and keep things in good condition. If you wish to see about arranging travels to join us we'll probably be staying in Magnamar for maybe a couple of weeks while I take care of business before we see about whether or not what we're planning on traveling to and such like that. But again, it's a good excuse with our son outside of the city to have an opportunity to spend some time with just us, you know? And with how things have been, with the quarantines and the disease spreading throughout the city, it's a good time when everything seems safe for us to finally get that traveling that we needed to get done with. You know, my merchant connections have to be looked after. So, you know, I haven't traveled to Magnamar in a few years to look after them. It is a good opportunity to do so.
Well, I always wanted to see Magnamar personally. I hear there's plenty of ruins to look at there.
Ah, true.
Some architecture.
If any of the rest of you would
Lovely
wish to take us off on this offer, it will still stand. As long as things remain safe in the city. Anyway, please enjoy the meal. You are, well, associates with our son, and it has been lonely without him around, as much as he is glad that he finally has some motivation. If you don't say anything else, they'll just get down to meals and maybe have like some light conversation.
Yeah.
But yes, yeah, they're fleeing the city.
No, that's fair.
Understandable.
City's kind of going to hell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
at some point I'm gonna have to dimension door over to lockdown land and grab someone.
Wand of invisibility to go over there too.
I could use that, but I
Yeah,
could also just
honestly.
dimension door across the river.
Well, I mean, like,
I mean, I feel like
Be-
you should use both.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally both are going to be used.
yeah, you go invisible, then dimension door, so no one sees you dimension
Yeah.
dooring, because there are patrols around the area.
Yeah.
And then you know, invisibility on the other side because you used an action, and then you go get your mother, go back, dimension door back, and then invisible both of you again.
That's the plan, basically.
Probably, you would. Honestly speaking, you might want to get her out as quickly as possible, and
Yeah,
they
I'm
will
probably gonna
have
go out.
arrangements to like meet with them if you want to do it very easily. With them leaving, taking a small barge out of the city. So certainly they can arrange for that barge to leave at a time where you could then just happen to be aboard it then
Oh, weird.
with your mother.
So strange.
Huh? You were there all along. You were never invisible.
Exactly.
But yeah. That will be a few days still. I will go to you. Do you want to look into the other information?
Do a
Bloodlines?
research check if there's like any books on it,
Sure.
like any books on
Um,
bloodlines.
Give me a... Vampiric Bloodlines might be either religion or history, I would allow.
Same number. I'll do history.
Okay.
That's the first time I've rolled a good history check in this game.
Okay.
It's on
Um,
backstory thing and nothing that actually matters for the plot.
okay. So, did you write down the name I gave you? Because I'd have to look through my notes. It'd take a
I
bit.
did, and I don't know where it went.
Okay, I might have to look up another name then and just rename the name
Fine.
that I gave. But I we'll keep it simple now because again, like rather than diving deep into notes for that kind of stuff there. Certainly in Vudra, the amount of Vudra's a very interesting place, to say the least. Okay. It's the Impossible Kingdom. It's kind of semi-independent kingdoms ruled by Rajas that sort of work together. They're like over 100 different smaller kingdoms. And the Vatala have their influence kind of deep within Vudra. Now, it's probably more comparable to how Ustalov has your good old Moroi vampires. But even in Ustalov, vampires aren't a large number. They suffered greatly at the hands of the Whispering Tyrant. And in Vudra, it's not a similar kind of thing. There was no major Whispering Tyrant that gave them rise or call. It's the fact that there is a lot of things that happen there that can cause some issues and have made it difficult for them to truly gain a huge control. Now, speaking of your bloodline, yours was one that was connected with one of the Rajas of Vudra, one of the many hundreds of kingdoms. It comes from a family there. And that family was driven out. Now, the fact that your father was of Atala isn't in the history books.
Okay.
But there are words the family of Rajas were using dark magic and had done so for a number of generations. The family was then driven out and driven into exile, if not executed. And this is pretty recent, though.
Okay.
But the history of the family and the rumors of more darker witchery and stuff like that pertain for the last few hundred years, basically.
Okay.
So yes.
Neat.
Especially because there are some things that, like, necromancy isn't seen very well in Vudra.
Yeah.
So there was a powerful necromancer that had kind of bothered the region for a long period of time before a joint army of the Rajas basically drove him out and killed him. And so certainly a lot of more darker magics within the last few hundred years have become, because of these actions and the defeat, more what's the word I'm looking for? Like lionized, more scrutiny towards it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
You will also know that there's, of course, House Arcona in Korvosa, which has which is technically a Varudran descent.
Oh, that's actually decent information to know.
Yes, you've
Heard of them before.
heard of before. Yes, there are people that have a lot of major stakes in old Korvosa.
Yeah.
And it would logically be sensed because they still, I guess, I've never said the exact year, but as far as you know, they've still received vessels and connections with Vudra up until now. So actually, if anybody has records on Vudran ships coming in, they might have it. But they also are not quarantined, but kind of quarantined, because they have a state, which I think, I'm not 100% sure, because I do have this information, I have to look it up. They've got like an island off of old Korvosa, that's where they own, that they like kind of reign over the region from. So they're not really directly on the island, so they were never part of the quarantine, but they're like adjacent to the quarantine, so that's why they have that level of scrutiny a little bit more in this case, which they probably have been unhappy about, honestly.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So,
Sweet.
let me just check something here. I have a name, and I'm making sure it's the right thing that I'm thinking of. Korvosa. So yeah. Oh no, they do have a place on a fortified location within Old Korvosa, where's their main thing. So they would have been subject to the quarantine, but they might have been one of the few people that could have gotten in and out of it. So they do have a major compound on Engine Isle.
Okay.
So.
Oh.
But yes, if anybody has that information, they might. In the city here, at least. Okay. Khandes, do you have anything else that you want to do here?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Zardris, anything else?
Lighting a Dave, yeah.
Okay. Ada?
No. I mean, unless my character can somehow find news of her brother.
I will say, still not yet. I also have plans for that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It won't not happen. It's just going to be probably, definitely one of those things that's happening in book 5 or 6 that you'll find out about
Yeah, my character's got the late game
baby.
My character's like Dark Ridge. All of this stuff happens like.
Yeah. So, this will be actually probably after Ivona and the Gelentos have departed, but before the arrival of Ivona's uncle, who would have probably who will kind of show up, we'll say, to meet you after you've met Cressida Croft while you're planning. So that'll kind of be the show up moment. We'll kind of do that after we have our break. But I'm going to do one more scene and we'll have our break here. So it will be maybe about half a week. So this is a little like a couple of days before Cressida Croft calls on you. When Zardris, you will probably be working with Khandes, Tavel, and Ada, probably meeting up to just discuss things that are going on. It'll be like, I assume at this point in time it might be meeting up at like either a temple or like an eating establishment. Up to you on that one. Things are kind of quiet and just, you have that opportunities to, discuss things, chat, all that kind of stuff, catch up, make sure, you're all on the same page, especially since things are going weird in the town. And
yeah. Is this still part of our downtime stuff?
Yes, this is kind of the back end of the downtime stuff.
Okay.
Anyway. Excuse me, can I join you?
I look at who it is.
Hello?
Huh. Who would recognize this person out of your group? You probably would. I'm assuming Tavel does. Ada Khandes, you might have met him. Maybe. I will show his image to you guys again. There you go.
Oh no, we have met him.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't remember. I didn't remember if you directly met him because he was working with.
He helped us all. He helped us all get like primed and proper for our.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, with Lucia and
It's been
stuff
a
like
while,
that.
but we did meet him.
It's been a while. I was looking around for you.
You were
Asking.
Gelento, weren't you?
Yes. But my family name isn't very important right now. Look, long story short, well, let me sit down. I'm a little tired after traveling. Well, it wasn't
Sure.
as difficult.
Sure, join us.
So, I've been traveling with your friend. And the thing is, we have received word about what was going on here in the town. On our adventures, we've encountered many things. But Lucia wanted to come back herself. But where we're at, and what we've been working on and fighting against, it's hard for her to get away. I myself am much less trained. I've been mastering some skills and such, but I suggested something. I was able to travel to a nearby city. Well, probably one that you are maybe aware of. I'm sure you've heard of it. Karamaga? Big city here in Varisia. Anyway, regardless. I traveled to Karamaga and was able to arrange to grab a couple of scrolls. And my skills allow me to use them. You know about Karamaga. You don't know a lot about it.
Yeah.
Karamaga...
Heard of it. I've been in Varisia for a while.
It's built...
I probably heard about it from being a dock worker and...
Yeah.
With
it's
boats.
the city on the cliff. It's standing on a high spot in a Storval Rise. It's built inside the ruins of an ancient fortress, a six-sided ring of 80-foot-side seamless stone walls. It's an ancient the city itself is ancient, like the place that's there. It has kind of remained mostly... It's one of the city-states in the region. It has remained mostly neutral when it comes to the city-states. Like right now, if we talk about politics dynamics in the big Varisian region, Korvosa and Magnamar are the two major city-states. The other one being Riddleport.
I definitely would have heard of it. I just looked at it. It's right. It's on the edge of Layering Claw territory, so I've probably been there once before.
Yeah. Anyway, so regardless, I was able to acquire 2 scrolls, and the thing is, the plague's gone down. Yes, I asked around. I've heard where my parents are heading. Look, where I'm forcing Lucia's father to get out of the city. That's what I'm here for. But I wanted to check in with all of you and send well wishes. I got a couple scrolls of teleport. Okay, you know, I've got some skills to use them. Not the best at it, but I've been learning a few things and tricks along the way.
Well, if you need help with that, I'm sure.
No, I can use a few old connections with my parents to sneak into old Korvosa, and then I just have to find the old man. And I don't want to literally bonk some sense into him, but you know, I believe that's the words that Lucia used.
Yes. I do think it would be wise to get him out. That would make sense. If he needs a familiar face, I'm sure. I'm sure he will stop squirming when he sees Ivona. She's going with you to Magnamar, right?
Oh, is she accompanying my parents to Magnamar? I'd heard they were going there, but I believe they've already left.
Oh, perhaps she is meeting them there? I don't remember the details.
Ivona's already left, just to note, too.
Oh, okay, so Ivona has left already. Got it.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, she already left, but, oh, wait, yes, they already left. Were you not going with them?
Unfortunately, as soon as I drop off the old man, my plans are to travel to meet with Lucy again. We were going to arrange to, well...
You don't have to tell us if it's, could compromise the situation.
No, not necessarily compromise, but we were going to be meeting in a little bit of a dangerous location. We hadn't been to Riddleport yet, and it seems like there was some business we had to take care of there. So I'm arranging to meet with her there after it's taken care of. She should be finishing up the business that we were working on over near Karamaga. Some difficult negotiations with some individuals, just to say it's that, and I've become better at helping with negotiations, but I'm not quite there yet, you know? Hence why I'm a little bit more expendable to send off on this. And it was better to leave her there, not rely on me for negotiations.
Understood. Well, I'm sure he will stop squirming when he sees Lucia again. But if he needs any convincing, any extra convincing, you can bring him by one of us. And
I'll figure it out. If I do need some help, I'll let you know. I just wanted to stop by and kind of let you know that we were still safe, all right. That we've found some kind of... Look, I don't quite understand everything that Lucy is looking for. I gotta be honest, I never really did. But,
it's good to know she's doing well. It has been, well, interesting without her these past, how many, past,
few months.
Past 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably it's like 2 or 3 months now, honestly.
Yeah.
Look, it's been a pretty busy couple of months, and it's definitely changed the way I look at a lot of things. I think I followed her at first for some kind of childish infatuation, but I think it's become a little bit different now. Something a little better. Friendship, camaraderie. I feel like it's the first time in a long time that I've had a good call on something. Look, anyway, I'm sure one of you should probably be able to use some form of... Oh, hello. He's going to wave to... Zardris is probably there, and he's never met, nice to meet you, so you're friends with them. But eventually, if you ever need some assistance from outside the city, just send us a message of some kind. Whether we can drop everything or anything, at least maybe some old connections with my family I could influence. I don't know how long it'll be before my parents come back, and who knows how things are going to happen in the city. A lot of stuff has happened. It's just crazy.
Hopefully we can oversee some peace.
Well, good luck. And he'll head off, having dropped a message to you and going on his way.
Yeah. So he's going to meet up with Lucia and Karamaga, and then they're going to Riddleport.
No, he's going to Magnamar to drop off Lucia's adopted father, and then meeting her at Riddleport because Lucia was doing some kind of negotiations over near Karamaga. Yeah.
Okay.
She was technically not in Karamaga, but he basically was able to travel probably like in a day or two to Karamaga, arranged to spend some of his money to buy some scrolls of teleport to make it quick and be like, oh, I'm going to quickly teleport over there rather than take like a half a week to a week to travel, overland.
Yeah.
Pick up an old man, get him out into Magnamar, and then just take the trip from Magnamar to Riddleport to meet. Assuming that that should be enough time for Lucia to finish up their negotiations and head to Riddleport from there. I could not estimate which one would be waiting for the other when they get there, but they probably know like an inn or something to meet. The adventures of those two. They may have picked up some other NPCs along the way, for another team of adventurers doing stuff. Because I honestly, there was stuff that Lucia wanted to do, and I remember like a third of it, so I'm just going to say that.
I'll run the one shot for that one day,
God, the adventures...
Things.
Stuff and things. The adventures of Lucia, Almond, Gilento, and some other dudes.
Of Lucia and this guy with an absurdly long face.
He does have a long face. Anyway. Oh, you were going to say something?
I was gonna say he looks like oh my god, Scooby-Doo. Shaggy.
Or Norville, if you want to get proper.
His name is technically Norville. That is that man's name.
Yeah. But no one ever calls him that, so.
Nope.
I mean, yeah. Anyway, we will go on break now. So if you're going to snack, drink, bathroom break, go ahead and get them, and we'll be back in a little bit to continue and to kind of move on to meeting a new friend who, is probably going to show up getting some information of where to meet people when the team gets together to... Am I missing someone?
Are you missing someone?
No, I'm sorry. Your black screen, and I just was like,
sorry,
oh.
I had my thing down because I was eating and like eating.
No, that's completely fine. I just didn't notice it until now, so that was like, it was
You're
like,
good. I'm still here.
yeah, I was like, why is that? I like look on, because again, I had like other stuff over top of Discord, so I just like looked over at OBS, and I'm like, did one of my screens break?
I was eating food.
Anyway, snack, drink, bathroom break. We'll be back in a little bit, and then we'll have a uncle character show up, and then you can finally figure out how the hell you're breaking in and what you're doing when you break into Old Korvosa. So, all right, I'm hitting buttons to go back, and I'm also gonna. That's this year. I'm also gonna make sure I sound okay. Let me check. I can check quickly. I can just go like this thing over here where I can unmute myself. I can check quickly. I can hear myself briefly echoed there for a second. Hey, yay!
Ooh.
So I did do another thing. I've just done a couple of steps to hopefully not have issues and stuff. I'm making sure of it. Well, hopefully not having sound issues. I really, really am trying hard to avoid that. Anyway, so we'll come in and introduce a new character, at least for this season.
Ooh.
So yes, Ivona will be back, but there
like
was some
her?
stories and stuff that's popping out. I'll have to change the top screen.
Overlay.
The overlay.
Work.
I haven't changed the battle overlay yet, so I mean, like, I am. We don't use that much.
We don't use the battle overlay that often.
It comes up like once a
Probably
chapter.
to a dungeon.
Yeah. But anyway.
Come on, it's like 2 or 3 times a chapter. It's just
Yeah.
We have to beat up people.
It happens occasionally. So yes. What was I saying? It's going to be probably after you've met the. Now we've gone finally caught up to the future. You've met with Cressida Croft. You're probably discussing how, as a group, you're going to get into Old Korvosa and what you're going to do while you're there, because you now know that not only is it you have to break into Old Korvosa, but Old Korvosa, in the last couple of weeks, has descended into gangs rule the streets. Probably if it's been that way for a while now, but it's gotten worse because now there's no more, plague necessarily keeping them from actually patrolling the streets.
yeah.
Probably when there was the threat of plague, it kept the horrible amounts of gangs. And there's also this someone that you heard about who claims to be the Emperor of Old Korvosa.
And I have a feeling it's going to be that spider guy we've met before.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Spider-Man.
Cressida didn't have a lot of information on the Emperor of Old Korvosa, just that he was a individual that it seemingly basically is the head of the gangs. Basically, someone won the gang wars, and it's as much as the gangs are sort of under the Emperor, but also probably not. It's that kind of thing. Of oh yeah, we'll listen to him. We ain't doing anything bad. We're just gonna do our own horrible gang stuff to other people over here. So yeah, that's where Old Korvosa is going into. It's descending into kind of awfulness. Kind of awfulness? Anyway, so I'm assuming you're probably... Where would you meet to discuss what your plans are? Because I'm gonna guess...
DeVargo, that's the guy.
Mm-hmm.
King of Spiders. I'm thinking it's him.
Yeah, we can beat him up later.
But yeah, where would you plan to necessarily meet? Where's your normal
guessing
idea?
at one of the temples, because we probably don't want to talk about,
Doing crime.
yeah, in public.
I also don't think Thousand Bones would be super down with us meeting for crime in his house.
I don't know what you're talking about. Crime meetings are the best meetings.
It doesn't have a little bit of crime.
Exactly.
It's just a treat, you know?
Just a little bit of crime. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm thinking
So
Zardris' temple.
Yeah.
One with all the good clerics in it?
Not the filthy lawful neutral temp.
Well, you're not there to be host.
He friends all the Abadar people.
I actually, well,
They are
Like, they're
very
different
lawful, though. So I
They are
mean,
lawful people.
like
Did I-
very lawful.
Peer pressure you into joining a religion.
Yeah.
How dare
maybe
you.
we could ask.
Money religion.
I mean, we could also, you know, find some, like, I know of an abandoned apartment if we want to break into that.
An abandoned property can just take.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those around.
Trina Sabor's house is no longer, is not occupied.
There's a lot of those places, though. Well, yes, that for reasons, but also a lot of people died, so there's a lot of places you can just hang out at if you really wanted to.
We could also knock on the door of the friend of, forehead guy, Van Carlo's friend.
Guy.
You mean the one that was helping with Trina that has, like, a one-room apartment,
Yeah.
basically?
Tiny one-room prison cell that he lives in.
Yeah, like, because he lives on a...
Yeah.
He basically lives in, like, a roof. Someone's
What about
roof.
We're gonna try and find Van Carlo, so I mean, it might not be terrible to
What about
go
the
there
weird
and talk to him.
mist place that the one guard lady took us?
That
Oh.
was in the
Inner sanctum.
Yeah,
yeah, that was in the Citadel, and
Oh,
you
was
should-
it in the Citadel?
she's like,
yeah,
yeah, and she's like, probably best we don't really be
Yeah.
associated anymore.
yeah. She did kind of be like, good luck. I will I'll do my can here. I can't guarantee I can do a lot. You know, I'm going to hold out as long as I can. Yeah. Probably there would be a time. It's probably, that's the only thing is, the Frozen Guard still has enough strength that they probably will hold out a while longer before they're fully replaced, you know? But, yeah, the writing on the wall is definitely they will probably have no more funding and not really recruiting members, and yeah. Eventually reach such a weakened point that they'll just be also, you know, phased out for just one group guarding the entire city.
Yeah. So we got a few places. Where do we want to go? I mean, I guess we could go to the Phrasma Temple.
I don't think they'll let you in.
I don't think they will either. That's why.
I don't think they'll let you in.
We could go. Oh, okay. Wait. Do we want a really abandoned place? Because we could go to
The
that.
fish factory.
Oh,
That's
there's
that's
that
an
too.
old that's an old
Oh,
Korvosa.
that is an old
Oh yeah, no, that's an old. We
Yeah.
can go to the underground lair that Rolf used to
I feel
have.
like that's like
What about the
taped
rat?
off
No.
by cops.
Because I was gonna say the rat people, but if they overhear, they'll be like, "Ha! Secrets."
You can't trust rat people.
Yeah. It's kind of like you know, untrustable.
They are the fluff.
I like how we were all like, we should fight for their rights. Untrustable. We can't get.
Was the fish place? Was that old Korvosa?
That was
Yeah, that was
That was
old
old
Korvosa.
Yeah, where the orphans were.
Yeah, I was just thinking of the orphan army you created or whatever.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned. Yeah,
Orphan gang.
There is one of those
so.
now.
Yeah. No, they one of the gangs fighting in Old Korvosa.
Yeah.
Orphan gang.
They're
Yeah.
actually quite. Little known fact, they're actually quite powerful now.
They've
They've
gained
taken over
class
half.
levels.
They've taken over half the city.
hmm
They have 3 levels of rogue, which makes them
Yeah.
more powerful than 90% of
They're
the civilians.
small size,
Yeah,
so they have
some AC
better
bonus.
stealth.
They don't have age penalties for being old.
Rude. They are, however,
Anyway.
child.
They're very throwable, unfortunately.
hmm
Yeah. I don't know. My vote's for Abandoned House or Zardris' Temple.
My temple's not big though.
could find someone's house and break in.
Yeah, just find some random abandoned house and just break in.
No. Trina Sabor's house we know is empty.
Doesn't she have like a two-story, like a two-bedroom apartment?
Yes.
I think it was 1 bedroom.
I mean, if it's enough to fit 5 people, and it's fine.
In fact, I think it was more like a studio.
It was really a studio.
Studio.
She wasn't like a bunch of studio apartments because they are like they were artists. She was in like the artist section of town.
Well, that's in Midlands, which is not quarantined right now.
That's true. Was that where you want to go?
Sure. Anyone else?
Sure.
All right. I mean, like, so
Turn of events.
when you arrive,
So many places you can go, and you're like, I want to go to the broom closet.
certainly you no longer is like the door like closed off and barricaded. Like you can just walk in and walk up the stairs.
Yep.
The door is closed.
I like her to be occupied.
Actually, that's a good point. Should probably just knock and be like, make sure it's not been sold to someone else.
Hey, you'll knock. Hello? Who's there? What do you want?
Sorry, wrong door.
It's like, that one.
Yeah, like someone owns the building. They sold.
Sorry, ma'am. We need you to leave for our secret crime meeting.
We need to do crime.
Look, I knew that was a possibility, but I didn't know what anticipate. I mean, I thought maybe it would still be like closed off for investigation or
In
something.
like a month.
It's been a couple of months, like really.
Yeah, but sometimes it's weird. Sometimes things.
Sometimes
take
it
a
happens.
while. Yeah.
But also, the cops would have long ago abandoned this case because they were busy with plague.
That's fair.
Mhm.
Well, where do you want to go now? Probably still outside the door. Sorry, wrong door. So where do you want to go now?
So the door kind of creak open and be like, I was sleeping.
Sorry, wrong door.
I cast sleep on the old lady.
That's
Ah!
I don't actually do that.
Sounds
I
like
don't-
harming
I don't
an
have that
innocent.
spell.
With his her hip.
Hey, it's not harming anybody. Plus, I don't have this.
Alignment shifts.
Look, do you need something? You've already bothered me.
No,
Yes,
we're good.
yes, we need a place for our crime meeting. Do you know somewhere?
I'm here to overthrow the government, man. Please step aside and allow us to plot in your apartment.
We leave, and we figure somewhere else out.
Oh, okay, goodbye.
Bye.
That's the most evil act you guys have done.
Disturb an old lady, yeah, probably.
Disturb an old lady who was taking a nap.
I think my alignment has now shifted from chaotic neutral to chaotic evil.
Yeah, I think it's chaotic evil.
Let's just find an alleyway.
Ah, yes.
Random
No one else
alleyway.
is gonna offer suggestions. Where are we going?
I don't know of any place that's good for crime meetings. I'm sorry, I don't do crime.
The most efficient criminals. A real Ocean's 11 story here.
Let's go get that shitty rowboat we own and row out into the middle of the river and have a meeting. Nothing to see here. Please go away.
That was borrowed. We don't own it.
I thought we bought it.
No.
Oh.
We borrowed it. They just were like, if you don't bring it back, we don't care.
But you brought it back, and they're like, oh, thanks.
We fixed it up.
We're back in better
Yeah,
condition.
I mean, I could probably ask to borrow it again.
To borrow the
Wait,
shitty
you
boat.
have like friends at the docks, right? Do the dock
Yeah.
people have secret meeting areas? I
I
don't
mean, they're-
know.
What's happening?
There could be a little room, like a little storeroom
Yeah.
that we could meeting.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you know the perfect place to meet. There's this warehouse that's empty because it was filled with people and cultists.
Oh my god!
The warehouse!
I'm down.
This warehouse was used for crimes for evil, now it'll be used for crimes for good.
Yes, good crimes. Where you see, we're Batman now.
Oh god.
I'm down.
Alright, sure. There's a very abandoned warehouse you can find that is very empty and once held a lot of sick people. Like a month ago.
It smells really bad.
It smells really bad.
Ah, it's fine or whatever.
Probably most of the stuff downstairs wasn't cleaned up, let alone stuff that was up here. It smells like
All in front of the door.
smells like rotten medicine. And like not good medicine.
Antiseptic and sweat.
Antiseptic, sweat, and rot.
Very stanky room.
So, but nonetheless, it is abandoned. No one is here. Certainly, and whoever originally owned this place hasn't come to claim it.
It's where all sins were committed.
So how do we get into the city?
Momo, I'm going to say this here.
Okay.
Your character has been following them. They haven't noticed. You can,
feel like
you
I've
can
heard
pop
all
it
of
whatever you
I
want.
feel like I've heard all of this arguing. And I just
I
wait
have
for
an
them.
18 perception.
You may have noticed that someone was kind of hanging around.
You can't just let us
I
do
feel
our...
like
Yeah, I
you
might
see
not
me
have
and I
said
just.
anything.
I feel like you see me and I just go.
You know, that's accurate, you know? That sounds about right.
Right. You know, I know it's perfect, right? When you're in the warehouse, you close all the doors, you start discussing it. Ada, you'll just feel an arm wrap around you. So what's the plan?
Were we given a description of this weird uncle?
Yeah, you probably got a description
It's probably a
The
vague
name?
description. Yeah.
of. Yeah. Darker skinned
hold on.
man with a big snake piercing in his forehead.
In his
Hey, what's your
forehead.
CMD? I attempt to like throw you
My
across the room.
CMD is 32.
Okay, never mind.
The answer's no. You're like,
I do
damn
want
it.
to I do want to point out, I could in theory hit that, but like it's also just
You panic. You just panicked, and it's
It's
just.
cat 20 that.
Oh.
I gotta throw you, and I just like grab your arm, spin around, and fall on my face.
Oh, did we get a name of the uncle?
No.
You would have gotten a name.
Oh,
He goes by Dancing Serpent because he has a Shuanti name.
Oh no!
Does
I
anyone
don't
have
ask.
a flute?
I don't ask if you are a dancing serpent because I refuse to say that name out loud. So I just stare at the man and just assume, like, okay, this is that guy. He looks
Are you
vaguely.
the dancing serpent?
Yes.
Huh.
I've been following you for quite some time.
He has. He told me to be quiet.
Well, I'm not a very good criminal.
I can certainly tell that.
Not a good criminal.
To give a description, it is a man, a darker skinned man in some very plain clothing, with serpent tattoos and a serpent piercing is sort of in his forehead, and around his neck is a holy symbol. To a deity I don't know if people would know, because I don't know
I mean, I
how
can
common this
roll.
deity is.
I don't know.
Religion check.
I don't know religion.
My
That's
character
25.
That's probably
I mean,
enough.
My character vaguely
Um,
knows Garam, Garez, and
It's a holy symbol of
and Atsu.
Milani.
That name sounds familiar. To light.
No idea.
It's a minor goddess who's the patron to all who oppose oppression.
Dope. We here don't approve of oppression.
Help, help, I'm being oppressed.
Not again. You gotta really stop that. Stop just giving under things
Stop
and
being oppressed.
Stop being oppressed.
stop being
Just,
oppressed.
just stop being oppressed.
What is this session?
Look,
It really took a turn into the silliness.
it's fine.
It just made me think of Monty Python
Stop being oppressed. It's fine.
and the Holy Grail. Help, help, I'm being oppressed.
You must be my niece's. He'll pause for a second and think, wonderful friends.
Associates.
Indeed.
So, to catch you up, we're trying to find a way into Old Korvosa, which is heavily guarded, in order to sneak out.
Man,
Some dude.
he's like important and very alive. Maybe.
Oh, why he's
Right down
important?
at the end of the game.
Legally, he is the only person that could oust the royalty in Korvosan government.
Looking for a guy named Steve.
What's his name? I forgot to write it down.
I will give it to you again. I'll put it in chat here.
I
because I'm
vaguely
here.
remember, but I'm not.
It was
gonna
a
say
name
it
I'm
out
not going to
Start
attempt
with
to
a
pronounce.
K, I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
Uh,
some of the weird name people.
They're all weird name people.
Not all of them.
I don't have his first name, but I've got his last name. So I'll put this here. I have to look up his first name. Because he's the Seneschal.
Oh, Kale Populus.
Kale Populus.
Oh, yeah.
That's
told you to start
yeah,
with a K.
it's a Pathfinder game.
Oh
What?
no, that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm afraid I don't know many.
Oh, I got his
names.
first name, too.
No, Kale Populus.
Here-
That's just his last name?
Yeah, here's his first
Populus.
name. Neolandis.
No! Can we just
Neolandis.
leave this man to die for the fact that
Kill
he's on a game that's
Populus.
way too long?
I don't know why. They're like,
Well,
Neolandis killed.
Neolandias K-Populus.
What is with Pathfinder names? What is
Someone
this
just fall asleep on the keyboard?
absurd bullshit?
They're,
They were
look,
working too late. and they
they're
wrote
better
this
than
back.
my names for characters, so I'm okay with this.
Oh, I know it's like 4 o'clock in the morning, but I gotta finish this name, and they just fall asleep on the keyboard. Random keys get pressed. They wake up 3 hours later. Oh, is that the name? Let me spell check myself. That looks like a name.
Neolandis Kelpopoulos,
Oh no.
Seneschal of Korvosa.
God, what a asshole.
That's why I say
Anyway.
we should maybe not save him on account of his name's awful.
So what are your names?
I am Adamant Heart, although most people just call me Ada.
Khandes, Elemental Claw.
Looks to the masked cleric.
Now I can't say my name, damn it. Zardris.
And the one sleeping in the corner is Tavel.
Yeah, the sleeping one over there is Tavel.
We're dragging around one.
Yeah, we got a little red wagon and a dog bed in it. We just keep Tavel.
I assume she followed us and then fell asleep at every location we stopped
I
at.
could just have her like attached to my back somehow.
Yeah, you have this. See, there's either a red
What is that?
wagon
What
or
is
a
that
duffel
thing that
bag.
like? Hold on. What is
A
that
baby
thing that like?
Bjorn. Like a baby
What is that
Bjorn.
thing that?
What a turn of events. I've derailed everything.
So you get for
It's
being a weirdo.
it's fine.
Not a weirdo. It's just a guy named Dancing Serpent. What's wrong with that?
And
What's
it just
what's
shows
so
up,
weird
like,
about a
hangs
man
around
named?
your shoulder like,
Hey, show me your dancing serpent.
What's so weird about a guy named Dancing Serpent?
That doesn't bother me at all.
You can call him Dan for short.
I don't want to call you Dan. I want to call you Sir.
They're dead.
Yes, I'm afraid I don't know any ways in the city.
we were gonna have this magical teleport, but our magical teleporting friend disappeared.
Yes, unfortunately. Flying over is a no-go unless we use some invisibility, but carrying everyone over one at a time would take a while.
Oh, Pathfinder, blinded me.
How deep is the river? It's a genuine question.
Uh,
Between Old Korvosa and Korvosa.
You know, I can cast water breathing, and we can just.
Because we know that this city has a sewer system.
Oh no.
Yeah, but if the sewer's attached to the
That's
island,
the thing. It would depend how deep that
I'm
river
not-
is.
Yeah, it also might be like that part of the city might not have a sewer system. This kind of stuff can happen too.
or that it might have its own sewer system since it's
Oh, yeah,
a
that
separate
too.
island.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is the general question.
Cleric's not gonna-
maybe at its deepest points, like 100 to 200 feet deep, maybe 100, 150, I'd say actually would more upper it. Because it's a river that you can have a harbor in with some deep ships and stuff like that. And honestly, so I think it's probably like a deep rutted river, at least when it goes around the island and stuff like that. Probably by the time you get to the bridge over near the Citadel, it's getting a little less, but deep. But before then, probably a pretty good chunk.
Does it get foggy from all the water? Like a typical coastal place.
It can, I will say, but probably not regularly. Probably depends on the weather.
Actually, kind of strange. Because like living in California, not far from the ocean, it's foggy like every morning near the ocean.
I know there's definitely plenty of like water areas that aren't like that though, so it depends on the weather too. So
That's fair. That's fair. I'm going literally off of my own
Yeah.
anecdotal
Different.
knowledge.
I think because the region here tends to be on the cooler side, especially with the water, it
That's
probably has a lot less.
true.
Yeah.
A lot of
Um,
heat in California. So
Because you're probably more comparable to like North Atlantic kind of temperatures of water in this region.
Yeah.
So it's not like super cold. It's like, off of Maryland, New Jersey, Virginia kind of. It's cooler, but it's not like, it's particularly warm either. So
Yeah.
there can be foggy days and stuff like that, but it depends on the weather patterns, how much moisture is in the air, that kind of thing. It's not a given that you're going to encounter it, I'll say.
Yep. Okay.
Well,
Hmm.
depending on how small the dinghy, if we could borrow it, is, we could try to get a scroll of invisibility sphere.
Invisibility
Because it's
sphere?
only it's a 10-foot radius. It's a 3rd level.
Who's gonna use the scroll though?
Yeah. The problem is I mean, do you have spellcraft?
I do not have spellcraft.
I believe
I'm
the
talking about
UMD.
Zardris.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but it's not on my spell list.
You
so
have to
the
just make a
DC
UMD check, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't have that.
Oh, okay. So it's use magical device, not spellcraft. I thought it was spellcraft or scroll.
All right.
Yeah.
So just because we were discussing him, I had to give you a description of how this man looks, and I'm going to show it to you guys now. Enjoy. Neolandus Kalpopoulos.
Oh no.
He looks way too normal for his name.
He does look Roman, which kind of Greek, which would be.
Where his stupidly long name comes from.
I just had to look it up because I'm like, how does this man look with
Also-
this hell of a name?
He's got like
Yeah,
a
dude.
vague Bruce Campbell look.
He is kind of Bruce Campbell. You're right. He's got that chin.
Yeah.
If chins could kill. So yes, you have a description. That's what he looks like. You know what he looks
Cool.
like. Anyway, sorry to
There's
interrupt.
probably a portrait of him somewhere.
Yeah, but it would actually be important to know what he looks
We
like.
could sneak across the bridge, if any of you are good at that kind of thing.
I tap my armor.
I
Oh, actually, no. You do need spellcraft because you either need remagic or spellcraft to decipher the scroll.
But
There's
it's
a whole
not on my
series
spell
of
list.
events you have to go through to cast that kind of stuff.
Oh gosh. Okay. They make it very difficult. Got it.
Basically, if it's not a cleric spell, I can't use it.
Like, that's why I use magic device is much easier for, like, wands, because it's one check.
We do have a wand of invisibility. Would Ivona have given that to us before we left?
Hey, you guys probably need
Well,
more than
it's
her.
still in the group loot.
You guys probably need
Yeah.
more than her, so.
How many charges did you use?
Oh,
I would probably use 4, I think.
Well, 1 in, 2 out.
Oh, then 3, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, 3.
That
Okay.
does sound about right.
Is it something
Okay.
an angry man can cast?
Okay, I'll mark that down to 7
Invisibility?
charges.
I
Yeah.
don't think so. I can double check.
I can't.
Oh, and you put the cure and cure wands and remove disease wands on your list, right?
Yes, I have them. I have all the.
Okay, I'll
cure-
delete them
clear
from the
ones.
group list.
Yeah, I
thought
just
we had
didn't delete
a-
them yet because I wasn't sure if it was added.
Yeah, I thought there was a restoration wand.
There's a scroll of restoration and a few potions of restoration.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
I would just leave those in the bag.
Yeah.
Just so I'm not...
Those are very much more when someone needs one that's ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have 4 potions of lesser
Uh,
restoration and 1 scroll of lesser restoration.
I gotta look at my Bloodrager spell list and see if invisibility.
I don't think you get invisibility.
I wouldn't be
Just the
surprised.
Oh no,
UND
the
did.
scroll is just restoration, not lesser.
Oh, that's actually better.
Yeah.
Because the scroll is already bought
I
and paid
ponder getting across the one bridge that remains in place.
Water
Well, there's
breathing and
always
swimming
the-
underneath.
Uh,
maybe.
It wouldn't be impossible to one bridge, but it is, like, got actual, like, walls built into it at this point in time.
They're literally guarding the bridges, and they, like, on the map you see a bunch of small bridges going across. They burned all of those,
Yeah.
so they only have 2 big bridges.
There's
which
the
are heavily
last
guarded.
resort option where we just knock the guards unconscious. And then...
What if someone causes a distraction and we slip by invisibly?
No, I don't have invisibility.
That would leave 1 person out to dry though, and they wouldn't be able to help after we get inside. I doubt the upper river will be the northern side of the river will be heavily guarded. Swimming across, well, a boat would probably be shot at. Swimming across underneath would be fairly inconspicuous. I think that is a good bet.
Hey, I can cast water walk.
I was thinking water breathing.
I probably can't make the swim checks.
I can probably make the swim checks for both of us.
You carry someone across.
I have a
like,
plus 12 to swim.
It would depend on the current of the water.
Current, yeah. That's
I'm
pretty
also like the
I have a
full-size
plus
adult
5.
plus all my inventory weight.
Yep.
But if you
can't,
if you
like-
have water breathing, you can just walk across the bottom.
I have both.
That is the thing though, if we do have water breathing, we can just walk across the bottom.
good. Can you voluntarily? Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
You could probably strap something heavy to you to get you on the bottom, honestly.
Well,
okay.
Yeah.
So you have like a rope tied to something like heavy, like a belt or something, so you could still unhook it if you needed to or something, and
tie to Zardris
Yeah.
and drag Zardris.
I mean, I'd probably just swim. I'm fine, but yeah, we could definitely do that with Zardris
I mean,
and
I'm
stuff.
probably-
And just kind of.
Like 250 pounds with all my gear. Like
Yeah, I know.
carrying
You
me
probably
would
you probably
be-
just sink.
like really
I mean,
hard.
you probably already just sink.
If I was in armor, yes. If I wasn't in armor, probably not.
My
Because you went to
load.
point.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like in your armor, you would probably sink.
Yeah, no, in
Um,
armor definitely.
Yeah. I mean, mine's hard to judge because, like, I think because my load is like 122, but like
I think
pretty
your character
sure-
like shuts off if you hit heavy load though.
well, no. My point is that I'm much lighter than that because I have a haversack, so it should a lot of this should probably fall into 5 pounds. So I'm probably pretty light, all things considered. Yeah, like all my armor and stuff. Wait, why did the weight of this get reset to 0?
Oh, no wonder I'm so heavy. Oh my, all the freaking javelins I have. That's so
You have
heavy.
a lot of those.
I have 18 pounds of javelins. What the? So many.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of javelins.
I think I'm just gonna like put those in a bag and not think about them.
Put them in my haversack.
Just in case you need some
I have a
javelins.
bag of holding.
Quick, everybody! Javelins!
I mean, I have some too. I think is it javelin?
Oh, that gives me so much free weight. Freaking javelins are heavy.
Yeah.
They're 2 pounds.
Yeah,
No,
I
I'd
have.
like-
I have some javelins too. I have 5.
Yeah, I basically have 100 free weight for my haversack, so I'm like pretty much under.
Those are in case I need to throw something at
I don't-
range.
I don't need
I-
them to throw.
If we need anything handy while underwater, I do have a waterproof bag.
Fair.
I have a bag proof of water.
But I have access to both water walk and water breathing, so I would just have them prepared.
Well, I don't think we
Yeah.
want to walk on the water because.
But we could walk at night when it's dark,
Could walk at night when it's dark.
and they're probably not gonna
Okay.
be like, is that some
Dude,
person
have
walking on the water?
But they might be looking
Yeah.
out for boats and stuff.
yeah, so you know.
It would be, but people are a lot smaller than even a rowboat, especially for like not walking all together. Like we probably
Yeah,
want to
if we
spread out
walk.
a bit.
Yeah. I mean, I'd swim. I don't want to walk.
I mean,
I'd
I'd-
water breathing then.
Yeah,
I want
I
the
could
water
just swim
breathing.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather do water breathing swim, but yeah, if you want to walk, you can. You could.
I would prefer to walk.
Okay. I think this is honestly the best option because, like, going across the bridge, like, yeah, we could all go invisible, but it's also, like, guarded and
We
barricaded.
actually can't go invisible because no one here can use the spell.
True,
Yeah,
we
and
have one
and
potion of invisibility and that's it.
You have to be trained in use magic device, and I'm not.
And I'm not.
trained.
I am not a rogue. Or a bard? I think bard gets it.
I mean, you
So
can
we
get one
slip in
point
then?
into it even if you're not, like, if it's not a class.
You wouldn't get the trained bonus, but yes, a rank in it technically is
I-
enough to be able to use a wand.
Yeah.
It's DC 20.
I
Use a
thought
wand.
it was one that you had
yeah,
to
so you'd have to roll in 19.
Well,
No, I
you
think
add your
you
charisma. It's a charisma-based skill.
I think you
technically.
have to be trained because it's one of the ones with a star next to it.
Yeah. I
Well, it means
think
you have to be
Yeah,
trained
that
to
means you have
use
to-
it, but you don't
It
get
means
the.
you have to have one rank in it.
Yeah, that's all training is.
Oh. Okay.
But like, if it's not a class skill, you don't get the extra +3. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
yeah.
Well, if I
so
put a
we're
rank in it, I'd have a 7.
walking time.
Hey, yeah, that's the bonus of having a high charisma is you can use magic device, and a 7's not bad for using a wand when it's DC 20. And
Before
I
we
think
go in,
it's really hard to like mess up with the wand. You just don't use it.
before we go in, we will also have to consider getting him out.
Wait a day.
Yes, but will you have enough? Will you have enough power to cast that many spells on 5 people?
Oh no, I
The walking. Let's just double check.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let you roll this
Um,
because you basically need 2 water breathing and then like, well, does Monk want water breathing or does Monk want to swim or walk?
Here, I'll just ping these so you can see how long the time is on them, because it's a long time.
Yeah, I'm more worried about like their spell levels and if you'll have enough for like a bunch of people.
I can prepare.
Water walk's one creature per level touched, and so
Yeah.
is water breathing is also a living
Water
creature's
breathing
touched.
can be
Yeah.
communal as
Oh.
well. You can divide it.
Yeah.
And you divide that between people,
Yeah,
2
you
hours
just
per
divide
level.
the minutes. So
Yeah.
you just have to figure
Okay.
out how many people want what.
Well, I would love to go swimming, but I would not want to leave my newfound companion alone on the surface.
That's actually smart. 2 and 2 will probably be the best. It will also.
What about that one? Place the sleeping man.
I just have him carried by Khandes.
Oh right. He can.
He's
yeah.
in my baby Bjorn.
The poor narcoleptic man.
Yeah, he's
Oh!
my baby Bjorn.
Oh.
Is he okay?
He'll be fine. When he's conscious, he's very efficient in fighting.
When he's cooked.
I just like.
Does not
I'm just
inspire
rubbing-
confidence. That does not inspire the confidence I think it does.
I'm just rubbing his head.
Look, all his horrible trauma has caused him narcolepsy. It's fine.
Although jumping into the cold water might wake him up.
I'm curious. What's Tavel's swim?
Oh, God. Let me
Like bad.
open up Tavel's character
I
sheet.
just
Take a
have
look.
probably like put no ranks into swim.
Tavel actually put some ranks in the swim.
Oh, nice.
Tavel has a 7.
Okay.
You know what my swim
Yeah,
is?
That's better than mine.
Yeah.
Mine is a 0.
Mine's also
Mine's a
0.
5.
Mhm.
Mine's a 7, but then I have a ring of swimming, which gives me.
Tavel might be better on the surface because Tavel has a 14 to stealth, so being like
Yeah.
stealthy on walking on water might just be better than swimming
That's
through
fair.
it.
That's fair. I only have
Yeah.
a 7 to stealth, or 8 to stealth.
Stealth? What's that?
That's a 14 with an armor check penalty of -1.
You could go for a swim without your armor.
Yeah,
on.
mine's 8 with an armor check penalty of minus, I think, 3.
I don't want to have to take
I mean-
it off and put it back on.
Mine, yeah. Mine's a penalty of 3, so.
Plus, I can't.
I only
swim.
have 1 rank in it, so.
Yeah.
I have 4 rings.
I mean, if I got angry, I could swim better.
For a short amount of time.
Then you have to, like, punch yourself.
No, remember it's just rounds.
Oh, right. This isn't.
Also,
Yeah.
also,
So it'd be 16 rounds.
Tavel's only level 7.
Yeah, when it's not all that way.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Well, you can tell her to put ranks into Tavel's.
Well, I mean, Tavel probably just put more into stealth because Tavel's max ranks in
Yeah.
stealth.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
My character is very spread all over the place.
Yeah, I could do it for 1 minute and
Well, Rangers are also very spread over, so I'm not gonna lie.
8 seconds.
8.
Or, wait, well, because it doesn't divide evenly.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like, shouldn't it be a divisible of 6?
It doesn't. It's 1.866666666.
Well, why?
That's the plan. Let us get going then.
Yep. All right.
It'll have to be after the morning because I'll have to prepare the spells.
Probably want to wait till the evening for this one, though. Anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, it had to be the next day
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I had to prepare the spells.
Again, you're not necessarily on a time limit. The longer things go, the worse things get. So it's sort of like, yeah, you can spend a day preparing and
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
that.
A day's not going to kill us.
It's also assumed that like
Me-
you want to make sure you're ready because it is like a very difficult in and out trip anyway. So
Yeah,
And
like
I'll need to rest before he can leave.
I feel
You
like
do-
things are gonna happen enough to where we're going to have to, take some time while we're
Yeah.
there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because right now your only evidence of the defined thing is a man's house. And that's it.
Oh
Place
yeah,
to
yeah,
start.
right. The only thing we
Valencarlo's
have is-
house, which is nearby to
Val-
the place he kept meeting you, is the only
Yep.
place you know to go.
Yep.
Yep.
Um,
and we still need to fight. I think we also want to figure out who's taking control of the island.
I mean, that's up to you if you want to get involved in that.
That's less important, but also
Less important, but I think it might still be good information.
There's a
At least
small
know. I
chance-
didn't say we have to.
You know
deal
what?
with it.
There is a small chance it's either Vancarlo or the what's that guy
The spider.
who? No, not the spider. That's another option, but I think that's what I think it is. But
Yeah.
it could be Vancarlo or the what's the
Vigilante.
vigilante? Yeah.
Wait, if it's
Blackjack.
Vigilante, that's Blackjack. Yeah, I mean that's not
Blackjack,
bad.
yeah. I don't think it's either of them, but I'm just saying, like, those are two other options I'm thinking of. I'm pretty certain it's the spider, though. That's my
Yeah.
number one guess.
I want Squish Spider.
I mean, who knows? It could be Rolf. It could be the Queen's first Queen's painter. Who knows?
Fair,
I don't know. I was just thinking of.
It could be Bob from accounting.
Dave.
Bob.
Fuck you, Bob. Why now? Why have you become this
it could-
evil mastermind?
It could be dancing snakes.
Nope.
Unlikely.
Man doesn't have the
Leave the buckle out of it.
man doesn't have the charisma to be a crime lord, I'm sorry. And it's got 8 charisma.
Oof. Yeah.
You can
Sorry.
borrow some of mine.
No, I'm good.
It's just not crime lord levels. One day you might be a crime lord, but not
Absolutely
today.
not. Well, I'm lawful.
You could be a lawful crime lord.
That's not true.
I
Depends
kind of
if
have to
it's
agree with the not
lawful.
true statement.
We'd be at most neutral evil.
I was gonna say it would depend because on the laws. If crime is legal,
It wouldn't be crime if crime was
It's not
legal.
crime,
I'm
it's
going
just
to,
a business act.
you know,
Business
I mean,
I'm
okay,
going to-
I do want to say there is a sort of like crime that's like corporate crime, which is like lawful, but you're also still technically committing crime.
I'm a monk. I don't think I know what a business is.
That's fair. I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying he is. I was just making a joke. Anyway.
anyway, where were we? I don't know. Okay, you're
on
crossing.
one
I
day
need,
and then going
I need
into-
swim checks from the swimming people, and I guess stealth checks from the stealthing people.
Hell yeah.
Oh hell yeah, that's me.
I
I'm
mean,
walking.
I'll try to swim. If I don't make it,
Can I
I'll
help?
walk on the bottom.
Can I help
Easily
Zardris?
spotted. That's a 14.
Okay.
It's 25.
Let me take off my armor because let's be real, I can put that in my backpack while I swim across.
Also, probably not going to be attacked immediately as soon as we get across.
32.
Okay.
1D.
Okay. That's some pretty good checks overall. Even Zardis' check is not bad.
I rolled well.
Spotting people on the water is pretty hard.
Yep.
In the dark.
I also
In the dark.
an absolute, in the dark.
So certainly you wait for nightfall. Cast the spells, kind of move a little ways away from the edge. As you can see that there does seem to be patrols of little skiffs that kind of travel through the water. And guards that kind of walk up and down the shorelines around the area. At least on the sides you're coming from. The shorelines of the actual old Korvosa are, well, mostly abandoned. People aren't there except for, those that would be ignored. But you can kind of get a little bit of time and judge what looks to be a good opportunity to move out. It is nightfall after all, and we can say that it's you waited until it was like a little bit cloudy out, so it even blocked a little bit of the moonlight, make it even a little bit darker. Those of you that go under the water, yeah, it's a pretty good idea. You do a very good job of swimming across, and no one notices you. You're under the water. And with water breathing, you don't have to surface. Those of you that make your ways across the surface, certainly it's a little bit more of a daunting task. You are walking across the water and being on the surface, but you are out in the open. Granted, you are
I can
people.
technically make my outfit dark. I have a magic set of clothes that no one's ever realized.
So you just change the color to like black.
I think I can change the visual and color.
That probably would help too. Just it's like jet black instead. It would just blend in with the darkness a
Match
little
the
bit more.
color of the ocean.
Maybe a
Yeah.
+1 to stealth.
Yeah.
Oh, that could be a 15.
Ooh.
Regardless, it seems as though you managed to cross without anybody particularly noticing you. Grey Maidens, they got some spot. They don't have a lot of spot. I just took their tents. I have their stats.
Oh, okay.
They're like level 2 or something.
Yeah. They are not particularly super high level. Well, a little like level 3, I think.
Oh, no.
And their perception. I just had them take a 10, and you could have failed with a 10, but fortunately you did not. But you will
Oh,
make
I
your
know
way.
I'm gonna fail with the 10. I
Ah,
have
yeah.
a 0.
Yeah, you certainly much more than the others, but
Yeah,
I'm
rolled
pretty
below
sure.
a 10.
Well, no, I mean like they took a 10. I just basically gave all the in general take.
Roll
a 10.
below 18.
Oh yeah, I think Dancing Serpent and Tavel would probably have been able to get across stealthily. It would just been Zardris that would have had.
And then I have to
Cleric in armor.
Then I have to beat people up.
Fortunately, you do not, as you've made your way into Old Korvosa. Old Korvosa has definitely seen better days, even moving into the sides of it at this point in time. It
I didn't know
is,
this place could get worse.
yeah. It's always been like a poor section of the city, and certainly during the riots and stuff, it didn't fare very well. Not a lot of repairs were done post-riots. Now the plague and the quarantine, there's a lot of buildings that are wrecked up, destroyed, having a lot of damage, places that are just boarded up, litter across the streets. Honestly speaking, occasionally you can find at this point in time very easily bodies that have never been cleaned up and are just left to rot. It is
Depressing.
kind of depressing and terrible. Yeah. And even now you can hear like noise of that sounds like angry mobs. What do you want to do? You've made it into Old Korvosa.
Well, if we need a hideout, I'm sure my dear sister would not mind us using her bar.
But we could also use our house.
Yes, we do own a small piece of property.
Which one's closer?
Someone roll a D2. I'll say
I mean-
odds the bar evens your house.
Okay.
And it's not much closer. They're one's just going to be slightly closer than the other, I'll say.
Yeah.
The bar is slightly closer than your house.
Very well.
At least for the night.
So yes. Certainly you'll be able to make your way to the bar. As much as the cover of night can kind of help to avoid things, it does seem that a lot of unsavory folks are wandering about at night.
Nice.
So
Very cool.
might be
Maybe-
better.
yeah.
Might be better during the day when the light of day keeps a little bit things under control for the gangs that rove around the area. Maybe, but you
Yeah.
can make your way.
We can sneak our way over to.
Yeah. So yeah.
The bar. My brain. Anyway.
Yeah.
So certainly you can make your way and find solace there. And why don't we leave it off there where you've made your way to the bar, to a base of operations at least for now, whether this is your final one or, you know, whatever. You've made your way into Old Korvosa. And things are not looking good in Old Korvosa, but we'll reflect upon that with things that are going on next time when we kind of dive into it. And as you begin your, honestly, investigation, trying to find out what happened to Vencarlo, and once you find him, what's going on? What does he know? He's hinted at knowing about good old Seneschal Neolandis Calpopoulos.
Damn.
What a name.
I just,
Beautiful, beautiful name.
it is a hell of a name. That is,
Indeed a name.
so we'll leave it there. Oh God, I love that guy's name, but it is a hell of a name that they gave him.
Certainly something.
Why don't we give some shout-outs then? We'll start with Joseph. Any shout-out?
I've shouted.
Okay. Well, we didn't hear you because you blocked, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Alright.
Volume
Li-
8.
Lightning.
It's me. I'm here. You can watch me here, where I'm a weird cleric person, lady. wears a mask.
How weird.
A freak.
How masking?
Actual freak.
Momo.
Hi, I'm Momo. You can catch me here. Catch me sometimes when discussing tabletop. And I have nothing to shout out because I'm not on anything else.
Okay. Worm.
I'm Diamondworm. You can find me on twitch.tv/Diamondworm or @Diamondworm on Twitter. Also, Diamondworm on Blue Sky. I don't know how that handling works. I stream Mondays, Tuesdays, Fridays at 7:30 p.m. PST, and Saturdays, Sundays at 11 a.m. PDT. Sorry, PDT, not PST.
Oh, daylight time.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate all the switching.
Yep. Yay, switching.
That's about it for me. Hopefully in like a week or two I'll have official art for actual art for Aiden.
Oh, cool. Myself, Dracovin. I'm here most days of the week. If you want to see some tabletop lore related stuff, especially related to Pathfinder, which we play, I'll be talking about that tomorrow. That's my Thursday tabletop streams, but I also do tabletop discussions on lore and mechanics and such every Tuesdays, Fridays, and I use the Saturdays as a backup day if I have to miss any of those. If you want to see some gaming streams, I've been doing a Metroid Fusion randomizer I started on Monday, and a bunch of Elden Ring, which has been very fun, and enjoyable. I will eventually go fight actual, like, important story bosses after I fuck around and explore everything else first. You know, I'll go over there eventually. Just, it'll happen. I'm just going to go exploring everywhere else first. I'm very... Look, you give me an open world, I'm not going to go in the right direction. This is how I work.
Way.
It's like, you want me to go left, I will go right.
I always hate when things like don't tell you which way is the correct way, because then I can't go the wrong way first. And then you end up going to the correct way, and then you're like, well, now I can't go back.
See,
It's the worst.
you know, I at least know, like, the basic, like, major bosses, because I've watched enough of that, so I know where to not go first, and then I just be like, I don't know where anything else is. I'm like, I know there's probably something over on this area. I'll go check it out. I'll be back to that area where I know the actual place I'm supposed to go is. Anyway. And then, Discussing Tabletop will be Saturdays at 6 p.m. Shout it out. So if you want to see Tabletop News of the Week and such, that's there. This show every Wednesday at 9 p.m. EST. All the tabletop stuff goes up on YouTube. I've got social media link below, Discord, Twitter, and I think twitter.com. And I do have to get a Blue Sky set up. I haven't finished it. I started it, but I never finished it because I'm just bad like that. But anyway, I'll get to that too. Have that link too. I should. Anyway, I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else to shout out. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. I'm glad that probably, at least according to OBS, you can hear me.
That's always a good idea.
You know,
According to the stream, I just listened, I can hear you.
yeah, you know, we managed to get through it without an audio issue. I'm happy about that, and you know,
I do think the correction I helped with will help in the future.
yes, and
Come back next week where we probably beat up an orphan gang or something.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know, there totally is an orphan gang somewhere out there, but I don't know if you'll be beating them up today.
Is that official, or is that something you added just because?
I mean, you cause them to exist, so there are actual gangs. I could just turn one into an orphan gang,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I just
Like,
thought, I just wasn't sure if you did.
Well,
that,
I have
or
rules
if it
for
was, like,
actual gangs. I could just change one into orphans, you know, that kind of thing.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
is it official?
Let's beat up some
Technically
orphans.
not, but you know, there also is technically could be orphans there. You know, it's the same.
I'm ready to beat up orphans.
All of them with orphan stat.
They're just tinier and angrier. And they all, for whatever reason, have Cockney accents, you know. Governor, you go give us all your shit or you go get shanked.
Never do that again. Actually, stop.
I'm sorry, I'm bad with
I love
accents.
it.
Never do that again.
I love it. Please do it again.
No, I think we'll stop that. I'll try not to do a bad Cockney accent, you know, or what is it,
Bad accents are the worst. Or bad accents are the best. Sorry.
Dick Van Dyke, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
For Mary Poppins, how it's really bad.
Yeah. Cockney.
Yeah, the bad fake Cockney that Americans do. Yeah, I might, if I need to do that, try that, but I don't know. I don't know if all the orphans talk like that, though. Anyway, so they, you know. Anyway.
Just avoid the orphan gang if that's the case.
Yeah. Well, we'll worry about all that next time, because you'll probably also be checking out a person's house and wandering around a place and all that stuff. But anyway, until then, I guess I'll say, everybody, have a good one. Until next time, farewell. Bye.